the University of Maiduguri is salient to National Healthcare Delivery Service, as it received heavy investments and houses one of the best cancer center with state-of-the-art ultra-modern cancer care equipment. It is also a training center for health care human resources. The Cancer Center has served and helped to restore the health of several Nigerians, even non-Nigerians across the borders. On this episode of Bridges, we intend to have an insight and in-depth into available state-of-the-art equipment at that hospital and what the Maiduguri Teaching Hospital is doing to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians within the context of demand and supply. Against the backdrop of very poor health indices, especially in an environment not conducive to treating diseases that often require treatment outside Nigeria, a beacon of hope has emerged in Maiduguri, northeast Nigeria. The University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital is a shining example of hope and healing. It has transformed itself through unwavering commitment to excellence and serving the people.
We sieve out and analyze objectively the needs of the hospital. And we classify this information into like a strategic plan that is timed. We look at the immediate needs, we look at the intermediate needs, and then the long-term needs. So we started with the most challenging issues in the hospital at that time.
Central to this transformation is the development of its staff. Medical students are trained here, gaining the expertise and compassion that define them as future healers. Through rigorous training and practical experiences, they embody the hospital's legacy of excellence.
Like when he intended building oncology center, he trained almost 25 to 30 oncology nurses. He also trained nephrology nurses, pediatric nurses, bone and plastic nurses. Every aspect of the nurses has in the profession or in healthcare service now, we are looking at quality of services.
Well, you know, the issue of manpower is all over the country. And recently they just had an interview of at least close to 50 to 60 doctors, which I think in the next 1 or 2 weeks from his word, he promised us that they're going to have more doctors that will cover up the challenges we're having, which is going to improve in terms of manpower and also the service being given to a patient.
The hospital is a constant hub of activities as students and staff alike dedicate themselves to expanding knowledge and refining their abilities. The hospital thrives because of its commitment and skilled staff, who range from experienced veterans to enthusiastic newcomers.
I don't believe in the fact that lack of resources should be a reason for lack of development. Our greatest resource is our brain. Once we can utilize our brain effectively, I believe no any other material resource can be a challenge.
Now UMTH, as the name implies, it's a center of learning. And if you build your own personnel, the services that you render to patients will also improve.
We ensure all our doctors are in place to ensure they give the basic service needed. And if any of our doctors should have a challenge in terms of health and everything, and that's why we want to see how far all our members are being enrolled into the NHIS program, so that, you know, as doctor you work, we don't want them to have that burnout.
Beyond the staff, the hospital has also undergone significant physical enhancements. New infrastructure, representing towers of progress, stand testament to the hospital's commitment to excellence, growth, and development. These additions include cutting-edge operating theaters and specialized treatment areas. These are not simply structures, but emblems of the hospital's unwavering dedication to providing exceptional care to every patient.
And interventional radiology is very, very, very poor in the whole of West Africa. We started it here at the University of Medical Teaching Hospital. So now we are constructing the largest interventional radiology center on the African continent. And our focus is to be on West Africa, where we can train so many people. We're constructing 4 cath labs, MRI, CT, everything that we need for providing of services and training for interventional radiology on the continent. We constructed a 150-bedded stroke center only for stroke. And not only stroke, our care is to have emergency stroke management. The care of stroke, management of acute stroke starts within the first 6 hours. If you don't get that, the brain damage is irreversible. So our aim is to establish a center that can cater for the country and the sub-region where emergency management of stroke using interventional techniques, operate neurosurgery operations, things like what we call intra-arterial pace, things like coiling, embolization, thrombolysis, thrombectomy. These are the things that we look.
When this present CMD comes into power, we've had expansion of the department in terms of areas such as the trauma center pharmacy, the pediatric pharmacy, and presently the CMD is also in plan coming to open another unit such as the medical wards and also the medical ward pharmacy and the surgery department pharmacy.
One of the things that were really challenging at that time was the issue of trauma and burns as a result of the security challenges that we are having in our own area. So we started building the trauma center, the center for treatment of burns, the GOPD complex, and then the physical rehabilitation center. These were to solve immediate problems. The trauma center that we built, we made sure that it's one of the best in the country. We ensure that we make it like a specialized trauma management system. What we have before then in the country generally is general trauma. But we were able to make it in such a way that we have neurotrauma for all trauma patients that are related to brain and the spine. And we also look at orthopedic trauma that involves the bones, plastic and vascular trauma when it involves the skin, the blood vessels, general surgical trauma. We subspecialize the trauma itself. So that if you go into our trauma center, you see operating theater for neuro injuries only, operating theater for orthopedic injuries only, for plastic vascular, for general surgery. That's how we classify everything with an ICU and laboratory services, radiologic services. The crash room is almost 28 bedded. We have a helipad on top. So virtually everything that you need and a training place for our residency to continue there in trauma. So that's how we fashioned it. And with the support of so many people, we were able to construct and equip the 5.2 billion naira Honorable Betra Cancer Center. As I believe as of today, is the best cancer center that is operating in the sub-Saharan Africa with Electa Infinity linear accelerator and HD Versa, that is the second one on the African continent, that can do stereotactic surgery in addition to radiotherapy. patients have been coming. I feel very emotional about this all over the country to get this service. And it's, as of now, the cheapest cancer providing service within the country.
We have brand new equipments that are not obtainable anywhere in the country and in the African nation by extension, because we have two linear accelerators, the latest in the world. We have VASA HD, which is not obtainable anywhere in the African country, and then except maybe in South Africa. I think this is the only place that they have this kind of equipment. And then we have two brachytherapy units in addition to the two linear accelerator. And then we have CT simulator, which is also the latest. We have Toshiba make 64 slide CT scanner.
We decided in collaboration with the pediatric to sit down and put up a model for a child institute. We more than double the requirements of the existing capacity. We built a child institute that combines both the pediatrics and pediatric surgery with all the other supportive departments to make it a one-bus stop for the child. He doesn't have to move from one department to another department of the hospital, which is very, very big. I imagine somebody from a village in Magumeri or Kaga coming into teaching hospital. The building is already intimidating to him. Tell him to go to chemical pathology with a sick child or hematology, all that would be very cumbersome for him. So that's why we say it's going to be a one-bus stop for the Child Institute.
We'll eventually start ambulating within the parallel bar, and we'll gradually bring him out of the parallel bar with the auxiliary with an elbow notice. And finally, we will go to the advanced gate training, where we will train how to go up and downstairs, and also how to walk in. We have seen a lot of patients that walk into the center with one limb, some crawling, and they walk out of the center with two limbs, smiling and all that. So this is touching. So we really enjoy what we do, and we appreciate the management in supporting us and all this stuff.
From there, we approached the ICRC, and they accepted to also build a center for us for rehabilitating our own patients, where we can do physiotherapy services, and we manufacture prosthesis, one of the best, I believe, on the continent. So our patients now that sustain injuries with disabilities, now we bring them in and also make the limbs for them, and they will go back to their normal routine life. They can walk normally. Some of them play ball, they can ride their bicycles. And I think that's how the phase came in. There was no way, because of the challenges, some of the insurgents, they went and destroyed the electricity installation into Maiduguri. So there was no electricity for almost 2 years. At that time, then we have to venture into solar. We have invested so much. As of today, we have almost 1,277 solar street lights within the hospital, and also about 2,865 solar panels that are installed, generating about 0.8 megawatts of electricity to the hospital, which is dedicated mainly to the critical areas of the hospital. In that regard, also, I have to thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, who contributed immensely to ensure that we have that solar. He gave the hospital almost 100 million to ensure that, yes, we use this for the purpose of generating solar electricity to the critical areas that are needed, especially the ICU, the theater, the laboratories, the oxygen plant. And our radiotherapy center, which I'm coming to talk about, it is also one of the areas that are fully powered and fully working only on solar, as the first one globally.
The University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital in the last 5 years has harnessed the potential of technology to transform its healthcare service delivery. Electronic medical records and telemedicine have overcome geographical barriers, providing expert medical care to remote areas.
We are in the linear accelerator bunker, and this bunker houses one of the state-of-the-art linear accelerator machines in the country, a machine that is manufactured by Electra, and the name of this machine is Infinity Linear Accelerator. It provides a 3D radiotherapy solution for our cancer patients. Apart from the 3D, there are other advanced treatment modalities that are in it, like IMRT, like BMAT, like image IGRT. So of course, apart from that, this machine has some electronic portal imaging devices, like the cone beam CT, the kilovoltage X-ray, for imaging of patients, real-time imaging of patients, to ensure that accuracy and precision in targeting the tumor, the cancer, is achieved. And of course, it is the only linear accelerator of its type in whole of the country.
Virtually all the labs, department by department, from chemical pathology to histopathology to immunology, microbiology, hematology, all of them, we procured new equipments for them. And also the departments like ophthalmology, orthopedic surgery, ENT surgery, we all bought anesthesia. We have a total of almost, I think we are one of the largest hospitals that have like 23 operating theaters in the hospital. Here at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, from my CMAC, Director of Administrations, top management of the hospital, the heads of the departments, we share the same mission and vision, so it makes life very easy. Everybody is focused towards how to bring in change and how to serve his own people. It's one of the hospitals that you see the least doctors or nurses or other category out for private practice in the country. You can count very few that are related to private. Everybody here from morning till evening stays at his place of work, sees the patient and feels satisfied. Sustainability plan is very important for the success of any institution. Without a sustainability plan, virtually everything will be bastardized. It will go back to zero. First, what do we need to maintain the infrastructure? What do we need to maintain the equipment? What do we need to train and retrain our staff? This is the baseline for any form of funding. Funding is the key to any sustainability. We have a challenge there because the low socioeconomic status of the people of Northeast, payments of hospital bills may be a challenge. And we all know the global financial crisis that we are having. That will really affect some level. Some of these high-tech machines, you need as much as 10% of the cost for annual maintenance. It's very, very expensive. So for us, we really have to sit down, plan very well to see how we can have a long-term sustainability plan for the improved infrastructural development in the hospital.
Welcome back on that tour where Bridges was invited, to showcase what is available at that institution. However, and very sadly, the recent Maiduguri flood, which has become a national disaster of epic proportions and represents a colossal loss. Images reaching us on Bridges and the news are highly disturbing. As at the time of producing this special episode, billions of naira worth of equipment and buildings have been submerged in floodwaters, not to mention the radioactive hazards posed by the submerged equipment, or biohazards, as the experts would say. This situation begs for the help and involvement of all. We on Bridges contribute this episode to the recovery efforts and is also a call to action for assistance in every possible way. According to the reports reaching us, affected centers include trauma, physical rehabilitation, cancer, all the wards downstairs, orthopedic, gynae and obstetrics ward, post and antenatal wards, accident and emergency, labor, amenity, molecular lab and all laboratories, the polio laboratory, administration, burns center. Everywhere in the hospital was flooded, except of course and thankfully the Zainab Shamsuddin Child Center. The University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital Auditorium, Colleges of Medicines and Schools. Well, we are drawing the curtain on this episode of The Bridges on a rather sad note. Bridges appeals to all well-meaning, patriotic and affluent Nigerians to come to the aid of this national investment in health and indeed all the affected persons. Our nation needs us all at this crucial time, and government alone cannot do it. We must all come together to salvage what we can, rebuild what needs to be rebuilt in legendary spirit of resilience of Nigerian people. This appeal to bring back University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital to the center of excellence that it was is a clarion call from members and crew of Bridges. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time next week.